Have you ever wondered if the wooden things in your home were never truly lifeless? Your table, your chair, the beams above your head. What if I told you that sometimes they wake up? Long ago, there was a lumberjack, a man who cut too many trees, too quickly, too greedily. People warned him, but he laughed. One stormy night, he was found dead in the forest. His body was no longer human. Leaves grew from his skin, branches pushed out of his fingers, as if the wood itself had devoured him alive. The police were baffled. Their report was short and cold. Organs turned to wood, bones like roots. Cause of death, unknown. People whispered. They said it was no accident. They said it was the wooden monster. Its name is strange, heavy, and chilling. They call it Tung Tung Sahur. Some say that's the sound of wood knocking in the dark. Others claim it's an ancient phrase, meaning wooden shadow. Are you there? But one thing is certain. If you knock 3 times on a table during a thunderstorm and softly call its name, it will hear you. But let me take you further back, 700 years ago. A kingdom stood, small but proud, and inside its palace lived a master craftsman. He was the king's favorite. Every chair, every table, every bed frame in the palace, made by his hands. The royals would say, "We don't know why, but nothing feels right unless it's crafted by him." He was cherished, respected, untouchable. Until the day the southern tyrant came. The tyrant's army stormed the land. In a single night, the kingdom fell. Citizens were slaughtered. The royals suffered horrors beyond words. And the craftsman, he was forced to watch his family tortured. Not for a day, not for a month, but for 2 long years. Day after day, scream after scream, until his mind shattered, his eyes hollow, his soul broken. Then, nature itself seemed to turn. Thunder rolled. Rain poured for 20 nights without end. Floodwaters swallowed the castle whole. The tyrant's army fled. The craftsman believed his time had come. He closed his eyes, ready for death. But when he opened them, he was still alive. All around him were bodies. His people, his enemies, his king, his queen, bloated corpses drifting in the flood. He buried who he could, and for each grave, he planted a wooden stake, one after another, hundreds of them. At last, exhausted, he collapsed before the final stake and never woke again. They buried him beneath that very tree stump. And then, the stories began. 1 month later, survivors swore they saw the stump move. 10 days after, during a storm, lightning struck. The stump vanished. Only a black scar remained in the earth. From that day on, the tyrant's new kingdom was cursed. Soldiers dropped dead overnight. Civilians collapsed in the streets. And the tyrant himself went mad. He fled with his family into the forest and was never seen again. When searchers entered the woods, they found no bodies, no bones, only dozens of new trees, tall, twisted, in the exact shapes of men, faces carved into bark. And that was when the name returned. The survivors whispered, Tung Tung Sahur, the craftsman's spirit, the wooden curse, the monster born from thunder, grief, and wood. You think 700 years is too long ago? Alright then, let's talk about something closer. 3 cases, 3 encounters, 1920, 1996, 2017. In 1920, in a rural village, there was a boy, proud, reckless. He heard the old tales and laughed, just stories to scare children. One stormy night, he ran to an abandoned wooden shed. He slammed his fist 3 times on the table. Tung, 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 and whispered, "Sahur, are you there?" 2 nights later, his family heard it. Thud, 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 rhythmic, relentless. They rushed into his room and froze. The boy was slamming his own forehead against the table, again and again and again. Blood soaked the wood. His skull cracked. His body jerked like a puppet on invisible strings. They tried to pull him away, but they couldn't, until his body fell silent. His head split, his blood soaking the 3 same spots where he had once knocked. After that, no villager dared speak the name aloud again. Decades later, in 1996, a group of college students, drunk and bored, turned off the lights and sat around a wooden table. They laughed, knocked 3 times, and whispered, Tung Tung Sahur. At first, nothing. They joked, went to bed. But the next night, the dormitory lost power. Darkness, complete silence. Then, a candle lit itself on their table. The flame leaned, bent sideways, pointing toward the corner. The students followed its light, and there it was, a tall shadow, human in shape, but built from wood. Its limbs carved, its joints stiff. It didn't move, but the flame kept bowing toward it. The next morning, one of the students collapsed. At the hospital, doctors whispered, "His bones are hollow." Finally, 2017. A 70-year-old man, dying in bed, called his family close. He told them a secret he had carried for a lifetime. As a young man, he once knocked 3 times during a storm. That night, heavy breathing filled his room. Terrified, he lit 3 candles. One by one, they went out until only the last remained. When that final flame flickered, he heard the knocking fading away. That candle had saved his life. With trembling hands, he grabbed his grandson, whispering, "Remember, never face it empty-handed, never." Before he could finish, his breath stopped. The candle at his bedside flickered and died. 3 cases, 3 different lives, all the same shadow, the proof of the wooden monster. Listen carefully. If you want to survive Tung Tung Sahur, remember these rules. Rule 1. Only knock during a thunderstorm, never on an ordinary night. If you try, it won't answer. But later, when the storm comes, it will, and it will remember you. Rule 2. Whisper softly, never shout. Loud voices are insults. One man screamed its name once. The next day, he was found dead, his throat packed with sawdust. Rule 3. Watch the candle. If it blows out without wind, it has eaten. If it refuses to die, no matter how you blow, it is protecting the flame, because it is watching you from the shadows. Either way, leave immediately. Rule 4. The most important, always carry a candle. That is your only offering. With it, you may survive. Without it, it will take your marrow. Pull it out like a wick. Use your blood and flesh as oil and light you alive. And there is one more whisper, the cruelest of them all. Those taken by Tung Tung Sahur, when buried, their coffins echo in the storm. Not with cries, not with screams, but with 3 heavy knocks. So the tale is told. True or not, you decide. But next time a storm crashes above your home and thunder rattles the sky, listen closely. If you hear 3 knocks from the dark, don't move. Don't answer. Just reach out. Pray there's a candle at your side. If there is, you may yet live. If there isn't, well, then we'll see if your bones are strong enough to burn.